Washington Commanders are meeting with Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy in Ann Arbour on Thursday before he does his pro day on Friday. So today on the Commanders Report, we're going to be discussing, should the Commanders consider J.J. McCarthy over quarterbacks like Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels at number 2 overall in the 2024 NFL Draft. Before I get into J.J.'s scouting report and my feelings on potentially taking him at number 2, do me a favor and click that thumbs up icon, because if you guys want another Commanders mock draft here on the channel tomorrow, my bosses tell me that we need to get to 500 likes on today's show. And if we do that, we can put out a mock tomorrow. So without further ado, let's get into the show right now. So let's start with the report from Jordan Schultz today, where he says that the Commanders are flying out to Ann Arbour to have dinner Thursday night with McCarthy the night before his pro day, per multiple sources. So listen, man, I really do think that what this boils down to is the Washington Commanders are doing their due diligence on all of the top quarterback prospects in this year's NFL Draft. That's going to include Caleb Williams. That's going to include Drake Maye, Jayden Daniels, and of course J.J. McCarthy. And who knows, they might even have an in-person visit with guys like Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix as well. The J.J. McCarthy one is official, though, for Thursday in Ann Arbour before McCarthy's pro day there at Michigan University. Now let's go over to his profile here, where he's 21 years old, so still relatively young for a quarterback prospect. Last year, his PFF grade was at an elite grade of a 90.6. That was 16th in the country among quarterbacks in the NCAA. And then also on the Pro Football Focus big board right now, he ranks 28th overall among all prospects, and he is the number 4 ranked quarterback. And this comes after a really good season from McCarthy there in Ann Arbour last season, a national championship winning season. Of course, he had to take down teams like Alabama and Washington there in the college football playoff. 22 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions, so he takes care of the football, and the completion percentage is pretty darn good there, 72.3 for just under 200 yards passing there with the Wolverines in 2023. So what say you guys? Let me know how you feel about J.J. McCarthy. Is he worth a top 10 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft? Give me a yes or give me a no down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by giving me a yes or a no down there in the comment section. So let's get into my scouting report here on J.J. McCarthy, and let's start with the pros, all right? And there's a long list of pros when it comes to J.J. McCarthy's game, all right? So the size is good, 6'2.5", 219 pounds, which was about 15 pounds more than what he was listed at the University of Michigan last year. So he's got the good size that you look for, and he's got the height to see over the middle of the field at the NFL level. Number 2, arm strength. Good arm here from J.J. McCarthy. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a howitzer. I'm not going to say he has a cannon, all right, but it's definitely good enough, all right? It's an above-average NFL arm, and there's definitely not going to be any type of throw that McCarthy's not going to be able to make in terms of his arm strength. Then it comes to the athletic side of things and the rushing ability. He's definitely a plus runner. I wouldn't put him in the same category as like a Lamar Jackson or a Justin Fields or even a Jayden Daniels in this own class, but he's probably the number 2 quarterback rusher in this draft class, in my opinion. He does have some wiggle to him. He does have nice athleticism, and he's a pretty darn good straight line athlete as well. And another thing that he does really well, and the reason why he was so successful, in my opinion, there with the Wolverines, is his pre-snap processing. He does a good job diagnosing what the defense is showing him pre-snap and then getting his eyes in the right spot to get the ball to where it needs to go. So the pre-snap processing is there in McCarthy's game, and that's something that NFL teams are going to like. And then another thing that I like about McCarthy's game is the pocket presence and footwork. All right, he plays with really good base. He moves up in the pocket really well. He has a good feel for pressure, and he knows where to find those little areas to step up and move around in the pocket. That's one of his best traits as a prospect, in my opinion. And then also when he's in the pocket, he's not afraid to take a shot, all right? He's not afraid to get hit. He's not afraid to stare down the barrel of a shotgun there and then throw a pass right across the face of a defender and then take a lick, all right? That's something that I appreciate about J.J. McCarthy's game. He is a tough son of a gun, and that can't be taken away from him. Then also, he throws well on the run. I mean, you look at his metrics when he's scrambling. He's actually one of the most effective scrambling quarterbacks in college football, or at least he has been over this past year, and that's definitely something that teams that like to do play-action bootlegs and all these different things where it gets them on the run, he's going to be able to do that kind of stuff. And then finally, the thing that really gets everybody excited about McCarthy is the intangibles, the leadership, the hard work ethic, all these different things that McCarthy brings to the table is something that NFL teams is really going to love. He definitely has the intangibles to be the CEO of an NFL locker room. Now, coming up here, I got the cons with J.J. McCarthy's game. It's a shorter list, but there are some red flags here that you do need to keep in mind if you're going to take J.J. McCarthy over guys like Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at PrizePicks. And today's Commanders Report video is made possible by our friends at PrizePicks. And they've got specials for new and returning users alike for March Madness when you head on over to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today. Football season may be over, but the action on the hardwood is just heating up here during March Madness. Whether it's March Madness or the fight for NBA playoff seeding, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of the year. Get in on the excitement with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. So here is my projection today for the first four for the NCAA tournament here. They've got all the different players on there from all the different teams. I got the more on Joel Scott from Colorado State. I'm taking the less on points for Terrence Shannon Jr. from Illinois. And then they actually have an awesome promotion right now with Caitlin Clark. They even have women's basketball projections on PrizePicks as well. Going to take the easy right there. 0.5 points. We all know Caitlin Clark's at least getting 2 points here, folks. I'm going to take the more on that one as well. March Madness kicks off tonight with the first 4 games, and you can pick more or less right now. PrizePicks is also giving us a free pick for Caitlin Clark's matchup Saturday. Just select more than 0.5 points for Clark and pair it with another winner for 3 times your money. PrizePicks is simple. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get started now if you haven't already at prizepicks.com/CLNS and get a first-time deposit match up to $100. Again, that's prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today. You can pick more or you can pick less. It's that easy with our friends at PrizePicks. So I do have some cons with J.J. McCarthy. He's not a perfect prospect by any stretch of the imagination. The first con on my list here is his post-snap processing. Now, like we said earlier, in his pros, he's pretty good at diagnosing a defense pre-snap and then knowing where he needs to go with his first read. But after that first read, things start to get a bit hairy on J.J. McCarthy's film. He doesn't progress to his second, third, and fourth reads enough on film for me to call it a strength. And usually he is somebody that if that first read isn't there, he's either going to his check down or he's looking to scramble or run with the football, all right? So that's something that scares me a little bit because you want these starting quarterbacks to be able to go through a full field progression read. Right now, that is not a strength of J.J. McCarthy's. However, he's only 21 years old, all right? This is absolutely 100% fixable for J.J. McCarthy because he is still so young. It is something that can be developed in quarterbacks, especially if you get him in the room and he shows you that he is capable of mentally processing these things and he can mentally process information quickly, then absolutely he is somebody that can develop the post-snap processing element of his game. Number 2 on my list is anticipation. Now, the thing about JJ is that specifically throwing over the middle, he will throw anticipation style throws, but it's not because he is anticipating space. It's more about just being aggressive and throwing to his first read receiver pretty much no matter what. So there's definitely examples of that on film, and I do need to see him anticipate routes, specifically outside the numbers better than what he shows on film right now. He does have some good examples on film with some anticipation, but it definitely needs to get better heading into the NFL with the super tight windows in zone coverage. Number 3 on my list of cons is touch passing, all right? And this is something that does concern me a bit with J.J., specifically because of how much he throws in the middle of the field. In the NFL, you're going to have to start layering some of these throws with touch, all right? You're going to have to throw it over a linebacker and below a safety. And right now, J.J. kind of just has one speed of throw. He only has one kind of throw, and that's kind of like his straight fastball. Like, he throws that no matter what, whether it's a 50-yard go route or whether it's like a 5-yard slant. Like, he is throwing his fastball straight. All right, there's no, there's no layering, there's no touch, there's no that curve, that change-up that you see guys like Brock Purdy bring to the table, for example, or even Patrick Mahomes over the middle of the field. These guys and these really elite quarterbacks can use their touch passing to kind of layer footballs over the intermediate part of the field. And for a guy that throws over the middle a lot in J.J. McCarthy, he only throws one speed and he only throws one type of ball. That's something he needs to develop heading into the NFL. So coming up next, I've gone over my first 3 red flags here, but there's still one that really scares me about J.J. McCarthy as an NFL prospect. But before I reveal what that is, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon to support the show. If you're a real one, you support our channel, you watch our videos. I really do appreciate every single person that watches our videos here on YouTube. So make sure you click that thumbs up icon if you're enjoying yourself today. So now the final comp on my list, and this is my biggest red flag, is the accuracy concern, specifically when he's throwing deep down the field and outside the numbers. All right, when he's throwing within the numbers and to the intermediate and short areas of the field, his accuracy is fine. All right, but once he has to kind of use that arm a little bit and he has to put a little bit more oomph on it on throws outside the numbers or deep, that's where things get a bit hairy for J.J. McCarthy accuracy-wise. Out of the top 6 quarterback prospects in this year's class, I have the lowest grade on deep ball accuracy on J.J. McCarthy, all right? So even a guy like Bo Nix, who has a weaker arm than J.J. McCarthy, I have a better deep ball grade on him than J.J. McCarthy, because not only can he throw with touch better than McCarthy does right now, but he throws it with more accuracy, at least in my opinion. And this is definitely something that scares me because it doesn't stem from footwork or throwing mechanical issues, all right? So he actually has pretty clean mechanics, pretty clean footwork, and the fact that his accuracy is off despite that scares me a lot, because usually these accuracy deficiencies can be linked to poor footwork or poor throwing mechanics. And once those things are fixed, and those things are fixable at the NFL level, then the accuracy kind of follows suit. But McCarthy, there's really nothing necessarily wrong with his footwork or his throwing mechanics. Like we said earlier, that's a pro of his game. So the fact that he is inaccurate to outside the numbers and deep already scares me quite a bit, and I'm not sure if it can be fixed through development in the National Football League. I've been wrong on this before, but this is something that concerned me about Desmond Ridder when he was coming out of Cincinnati, is that he had pretty good footwork, pretty decent mechanics, and the accuracy was off on his film. I see something very similar with J.J. McCarthy as he enters the National Football League. So my pro comp here for J.J. is that he is a more athletic, stronger-armed Jimmy Garoppolo, all right? And the reason why I make that connection is because Garoppolo's the type of guy that's pretty darn good when throwing over the intermediate and short middle of the field, but struggles to target outside the numbers and deep down the field. That's the same profile that J.J. McCarthy brings to the table, only McCarthy has a better arm, and he's more athletic than Jimmy G, all right? So I do feel like Jimmy G, J.J. needs to go to a West Coast system, like a Shanahan-style offense, Sean McVay-style offense, where he's going to be able to throw over the middle of the field and kind of avoid the outside the numbers type throws. And I do think that he is probably limited because of the skill set that he brings to the table, at least in terms of becoming a top flight quarterback in the National Football League. So because that's where I'm at with J.J. McCarthy, I currently have a late round 1, early round 2 grade on the Wolverine quarterback. He could be a potential starter in this league like Jimmy Garoppolo was for many, many years, and he could even be better than Garoppolo because he's more athletic than him and he has a stronger arm. And if he can develop that accuracy to the outside portions of the field and deep down the field, he could be a lot more than even I'm saying right now. But right now, based on my projection on what I've seen on his film from this past year, I feel comfortable giving him a late round 1, early round 2 grade. And not only that, guys, I have him ranked as my 6th ranked quarterback among the top quarterback prospects this year. I like Bo Nix more than most people out there. I think Bo Nix has a lot of very similar pros to J.J. McCarthy, but he doesn't have as many cons, or at least less red flags as McCarthy has. Than Penix, man. Penix can really sling that thing down the field. So I think that he'd probably be a better true pocket passer and deep down the field type thrower than J.J. McCarthy entering the league. So let me know down there in the comment section, is J.J. McCarthy overrated or underrated as a QB? Let me know down there in the comment section. Type O if you think he's overrated. Again, right now he's being projected as a top 5, top 10 pick. Or type U if you think he's underrated. Let me know down there in the comment section. For me personally, I guess you guys can guess, I think that he's a little bit overrated, and I would not take him over Drake Maye or Jayden Daniels. I think the pick right now for the Washington Commanders is still between Maye from North Carolina and Jayden Daniels from LSU. But that'll be it for today's show, guys. I appreciate your support. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now because we got a bunch of great Commanders content coming your way later this week. You're not going to want to miss it. Click that subscribe button right now.